Both of these run Windows, both run Game Pass natively, both chew through the same Steam library, and both sit right in that premium price bracket. So why compare them? Because this isn't about specs. It is about something much harder to measure. It is about how they actually feel when you live with them. Because on paper, they're very similar, but in your hands, they've got a completely different energy. So if you're new here and you care more about real-world experience, and this video helps you, consider sticking around. The Xbox Ally X leans heavily into console familiarity, because it feels like an Xbox controller evolved. Comfort first, instantly natural, and Game Pass front and center. The MSI Claw 8 AI Plus goes in a different direction. Bigger 8-inch display, Interlunar Lake inside, more premium finishing, same operating system for both, but two totally different personalities. So let's break this down the way it actually matters. Aside of the numbers and the specs, let's start talking about these, considering the aspect that I feel matters the most when you're actually comparing handheld devices, and that is the hands. So the Xbox Ally X, when you pick it up, is ridiculously comfortable. The curvature, the grip, the balance, it just disappears in your hands, and even though it actually is fairly heavy, you pick it up and your muscle memory just works. It feels a lot lighter than it is. So if pure tactile comfort is your number one priority, then the Ally X wins hands down. If you pick up the Claw 8 AI Plus, you are going to realize it is a lot bigger, it is heavier, it's bulkier, and you really feel that difference. And you're actually aware that you're holding a device. Then the moment comes when you turn it on, and that 8-inch screen, at least for me, changes everything. I have reached the point where UI scaling really matters to me, so smaller text isn't charming anymore, it's actually tiring. And on the Claw, the menus breathe better. So open world games, for example, they feel bigger, and I just stop adjusting my eyes and squinting. And really, that 1 inch doesn't sound like much, but it is. When I go back to the Xbox Ally X, the panel is great, it's really vibrant, it's fast, but after using the 8 inches on the Claw 8, it just feels a little bit tight. So basically, the Ally X wins in your hands and the Claw wins in your eyes. So we've got tactile immersion on one side and visual immersion on the other, and that is a very real trade-off. Now let's briefly talk about the performance, because both of these are extremely strong and they're actually neck on neck, and I'm sure that you went and saw some benchmarks, and the Xbox Ally X actually handles most titles very confidently, but I found that in heavier games, and I've said this before, like Battlefield 6, I still noticed more heat and the occasional instability under sustained load. Everything is playable, just noticeable. Now, the Claw really surprised me, because the beginning was a little bit rough, and Intel has actually been extremely active since this came out. There's been a lot of driver updates, they matured quickly. We had XeSS 2, now we've got XeSS 3 with frame generation in supported titles that is actually about to come out. And then we've got MSI Center M, which launched, as I said, rough, and now it's more coherent, it's more responsive, and it's clearly been maintained. It's still not perfect, but it's evolving, and as a buyer, that actually tells me a positive thing, and that is that MSI is actually serious about long-term support here. And here's the important line. I've actually never really felt like I was missing AMD, or that Intel is or was a problem on this machine, and that's actually pretty new on this space. Now, the software layer, because both run Windows, yes, launcher juggling, yes, desktop moments, yes, updates, of course, we know that, but the Xbox Ally X has something important, and that is ASUS's Armoury Creator SC, and this is where the Ally feels more curated. Performance profiles, they're easier to switch, controller settings, they're centralized, game library integration feels more console-like, It's not perfect, it's still Windows underneath, but it feels more intentionally packaged. It's more cohesive out of the box. Now, compare that to the Claw, and MSI Center M has, as I said, improved a lot, but it feels like a layer sitting on top of Windows, and it's less curated, it's more PC. And then there's flexibility, because the Xbox Ally X can run Bazzite beautifully. And if you want to ditch Windows altogether and just move towards SteamOS style experience, you can. The Claw, well, realistically, it is Windows committed. So here's the real divide. The Ally offers a curated Windows layer with the option to escape entirely, and if you like that, it's a great solution. The Claw actually commits to refining Windows itself, and there isn't much escape from that. So that's basically a philosophical difference. Before wrapping this one up, there's actually a couple of points that I want to make, and they have to do with real world use and things that matter, and I feel that they could matter to you. And one is, on the couch, elbows supported, pillow on my stomach, and that's the preferred way for me to play the Claw 8. The bigger screen really shines because it really feels cinematic and it kind of sucks you in, and I love that experience. Lying in bed, holding it above me, that's where the Ally X is lighter. It's got that controller-like ergonomic, and it really shows its strength, and I usually here don't get what I get with all my other handhelds, and that is tingling hands. Doesn't happen with the Xbox Ally X. So after about 45 minutes, I notice different things on them. With the Ally X, I start noticing the screen size because I squint, and with the Claw 8 AI Plus, I start noticing the physical size. Neither is uncomfortable, but each one reminds you of its trade-offs. What about the fan noise and the heat, you might be wondering? And they obviously both ramp up under load. The Xbox Ally X tends to feel a bit warmer in intense sessions, like I said. The Claw feels a little bit more controlled, but it's still clearly working. The Xbox Ally X is a bit louder as well. The Claw 8 AI Plus has that kind of calmer sound. And these are both powerful handhelds, so obviously they're not silent magic boxes. What about battery life? Well, in the way most of us play, higher brightness, AAA titles, they're closer than different. So if you're planning a long session, make sure that you're somewhere close to a power outlet because they're going to run out of battery. So we got probably a couple of hours. Then you've got the speakers. They're excellent on both. I prefer the Claw 8 speakers a tiny bit because they sound even a bit richer. But when you hear the Xbox Ally X speakers, especially coming out of the device, you're going to be surprised because it has such a rich, such a loud sound. You're almost like, wow, I can't believe this is coming out of such a device. So both are excellent. And neither device is really dramatically flawed. They just prioritize different kinds of immersion, really. Just a quick practical note before we finish, and if you are picking up the Xbox Ally X, I would definitely recommend that you use a tempered glass screen protector, and the one I use is the JSAUX one, which is ultra clear. It keeps touch sensitivity intact and gives you a proper scratch protection without affecting the display. And since the Xbox Ally X doesn't come with a carrying case in the box, there is actually a great slim case by JSAUX as well, and it makes a lot of sense because it's got a very precise fit, it's wear resistant, you've got space for your SD cards in there, and it has a really solid carrying handle, so you can take your device with you without adding any unnecessary bulk. If you want to check them out, I'm going to leave a link below for you to do that, and if you decide to get one, you know that you're supporting the channel. So where are we landing with this one? And if comfort is everything to you, then the Xbox Ally X should be your choice. Because it feels familiar, it feels natural, it feels effortless, it's great to hold. If screen immersion matters more to you, well then the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus is probably going to be your weapon of choice, because it pulls you into the game in a way that's hard to unsee once you've experienced it. For me, immersion actually wins, and once I'm in a game, the screen matters more than the perfect grip, and that 8-inch display just gives me more room to breathe, more to see, and more room to actually forget that I'm holding a device at all. And it doesn't make the Claw 8 perfect at all. I want to be very clear. It also doesn't make the Xbox Ally X weak. I like both. It just means that your priority decides your winner. Are you comfort or depth? And that's all that it really comes down to here. So let me know in the comments which one you choose though, because I'm genuinely curious where you land on this. And if this kind of experience first breakdown is helpful to you, drop a like, because it tells me that I'm going in the right direction. And if you want more honest handheld deep dives like this one, without the benchmark circus, do consider subscribing. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.